Hey guys, thanks for joining us all. Really appreciate everyone taking the time. This is such an important thing, this white paper training. If you missed the first two, be sure to catch up on them. They're in the groups and posted in the WhatsApp groups as well as the Facebook groups. And let's get started. There's some really exciting stuff to tell you tonight. My stuff not so much, but as we go on, you're going to get really excited just as we did this morning. Okay, we're going to talk about the transaction ledger and the functions within the transaction ledger. First of all, we'll talk about the operations. Operations are the foundation for constructing transactions. They are defined using the C++ programming language, which allows for the creation of dynamic and expansive activities to take place over the blockchain. Operations describe the potential logic that a person or the nodes can perform. These can be added and updated in real time upon approval of software updates. This means that it's possible to provide a customized digital contracts that are reinforced programmatically by the blockchain and its node network. In layman's terms, the operations allow us to construct a transaction. The fact that the platform is constructed on a C++ program language, which is considered as the English of the computer language, this particular language has the flexibility to allow us to grow, adapt, and anything, it's limitless within the DASnet environment. Transactions. Transactions are the summary of operations intended by some activity. Once a set of operations are defined, the participant of the transaction must appropriately sign with their private key the corresponding operation. These will be checked and verified and includes an expiration date, a block number, and a reference to the block number's hash. Only once all the required fields are filled and each operation is signed by the respective keys can it be successfully included in a block and written into the history of the blockchain ledger. So the transactions are like a digital receipt. Each transaction has a set of parameters that when complete, the transaction or the contract will be written into the blockchain. So we would liken this into doing a Bitcoin transaction. It's like getting a digital receipt for the operations that you put together to create your transaction.
Awesome. Okay, we've got a question. The guys, just feel free to comment. I believe you should have access to the chat window. Just place your questions there, rather than unmuting, because otherwise it's going to take a little bit too long. I'm going to move on. I'm going to take over and start with the blocks as well as minting blocks. But effectively, guys, just to give you that kind of a context, this is what we are doing is we're starting from the smallest element of the blockchain. Paul, if you can just mute yourself, please. Just realize that you're not muted just yet. Okay, I've just muted you. Yeah, so effectively, operations is the smallest. It's almost like different parameters that you've got to put together in order to create a transaction. And then transactions, when you combine transactions together, then you create a block. That's how it is. So that's smallest, medium, and then biggest. That's how it works. Okay, so now the block. Let me just switch over. Okay, blocks. A block is a group of transactions that updates the state of the blockchain ledger. Blocks are the foundational elements to the blockchain. Each block is made by an authoritative entity called a masternode, and each block is cryptographically linked to the previous block. I think it's more or less, it should be pretty straightforward. Effectively, masternode creates, sorry, I've got 3 people joining. I'm just going to get them quickly. Yes, so every block will have transactions in it, and then blocks create blockchain. It's pretty straightforward. Everything is linked together through the cryptography and in a logical fashion. This cryptographic continuity ensures the integrity of the balances that are being modified on the ledger. Replying the sequence of blocks will reveal the current existing state, and a sequential application of blocks means that there cannot be any inconsistencies between balances of the accounts residing on a blockchain. This effectively explains that blocks cannot be just randomly created. They have to make a logical sense, and previous blocks will always be verifying and confirming whether the block that is about to be added is actually accurate and matches the sequence, the previously added sequence. Blocks are immutable because they contain a timestamp, have the signature of the master node that approved of it, and will become linked to future blocks. This means that when people make transactions, they are irreversible and cannot be modified without completely affecting all other aspects of the system. Any invalid signature will be refused, therefore no one can easily mutate or modify the existing history of the blockchain. Again, this, in contrary to a standard kind of a paper ledger that accountants tend to be using, where they can just grab an eraser and scribble some things off. With this one, something's been put into the blockchain, and effectively, if something is in a blockchain, it means that it has already been verified and approved by previous blocks. Therefore, it's accurate. It cannot then be just easily removed. It's almost impossible to remove a block. Minting blocks. A minting block is the direct distribution of newly minted Dascoins that occurs at the end of each minting block interval, currently set at 10 minutes. Each minting block is made by a masternode, cryptographically linked to the previous minting block. The resulting Dascoins are directly transferred to web wallet vaults in accordance with the minting queue. So this explains exactly, this is where we are as the company now, because minting has started, the minting blocks and Dascoins are being produced, and Dascoins are being then moved onto our web wallets. Okay. That's it. That's me done.
Vivian? Is Vivian muted? Yeah, Vivian's muted.
Sorry, I was chatting away to myself. Yeah, so look, obviously, I suppose that's important to understand, I suppose, what we've read to date. And I think, look, it's basically blocks are made up of transactions. Transactions are made up of operations, and all the blocks are interlinked. So it's a pretty good system. But I think we're getting onto quite an exciting part here. This is a bit I wasn't aware of until a couple of days ago, and it's just well, we'll read it and we'll talk about it then. Deep value contract. Deep value contract is a smart contract that exists on the Dascoin blockchain. It requires the owner of a web wallet vault to transfer a certain number of Dascoins to deep storage for an agreed upon period of time, the term of the contract. In deep storage, the Dascoins are not able to be transferred until the term has expired and will be automatically transferred back to the original vault unless the contract holder agrees to roll over the balance for another term. As an incentive for agreeing to store a certain amount of Dascoins, the owners of the Dascoin is provided a share of a reward pool. Reward proceeds are distributed directly from the Dascoin blockchain into the deep vault of the contract holder. Each initial deep vault contract is worth 1 share of the reward pool, and the reward is shared among all current contract holders during that period. There are 3 different types of dark vault contracts. Each requires a different qualifying transfer, a different commitment term, and each provides a different reward pool. Each also entitles the contract holder to a certain amount of voting influence in the system. So I'll take you through the first 2. So the initial one is, or the base level, I suppose, is the voting contract. This contract requires 10,000 Dascoins to be committed for a period of 2 years. The reward pool for this contract is an additional 10% of all the Dascoin minted each week and is distributed on a weekly basis. There is no limit to the number of voting contracts a person or entity can hold. So basically what they're doing here is if you commit a certain amount of Dascoin, well in this case 10,000 Dascoins, over a 2-year period, you're going to get rewarded with more coin. So I suppose they're rewarding people who are looking at the longer term view and get rewarded on the back of that. So You're getting rewarded in two ways for taking the long-term view. Number one, in more coin, which obviously, if you believe in the whole thing, is good, but also in voting. So you actually get a say in what's happening in the future of the company. So this is hugely exciting to me. You get a chance to influence the future, and you also get rewarded with Dascoins as well. So winning twice, and it gets better. The ledger contract. This contract requires 100,000 Dascoins to be committed for a period of 3 years. The contract holder must also run 10 ledger nodes to be qualified to participate in the ledger reward pool. The system will verify that these nodes have been active throughout the period prior to distributing the contract holder's shares of the reward. The reward pool for this contract is an additional 6% of all Dascoin minted in a 2-week period and is distributed every 2 weeks. There is no limit to the number of ledger contracts a person or entity can hold. Again, a bit like the one above, but the person is committing 10 times as much Dascoin, so 100,000 Dascoins, and you're committing them for an extra year and 3 years. But the reward is also bigger, and you're also having a bigger influence on the future of the company. So for me, this is hugely exciting. And I'll pass you over to whoever's next there for the next one, which is even more exciting.
That's myself. Just touching on your one, Vivian, with the ledger contract, the contract holder has to run 10 ledger nodes. Just for people that probably haven't read on in the white papers, the ledger nodes are the maintenance guys, the maintenance nodes of the blockchain. They don't sign things off like a master node, but they are able to verify transactions. So you really have a big part and a big influence in the company with this kind of stuff. So it's pretty amazing stuff that we are allowed to be in control of this stuff, and the company is allowing us to do this.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely.
So if we're moving on now to page 12, the master contract. This is when it gets really exciting. So the master contract. This contract.
I've got it. Carry on, I've got it.
I thought we were getting a question there. I know how he feels. Okay, guys. So the master contract. This contract requires 1 million Dascoins to be committed for a period of 5 years. The contract holder must also run a master node to be qualified to participate in the master reward pool. The system will verify that this node has been active throughout the period prior to distributing the contract holder's share of the reward. The reward pool for this contract is an additional 3% of all Dascoin minted in a 3-week period and is distributed every 3 weeks. There is a limit of 3 master contracts per person, entity, or related parties. So this means that you can only have a maximum of 3 master contracts. And if you're kind of breaking this down into simple terms, you're really committing to the company and you really see the long-term vision of this. If you're going to submit 1 million Dascoins from your web wallets or your defaults to the company, and in crypto terms, what you're doing is you're taking a huge chunk of coins out of circulation, and you're freezing them. So you're putting them away. No one else can touch them, and what happens is they're out of circulation. When all those coins are out of circulation, the demand goes up because there's less coins, and in crypto coins that means the price goes up. So this is
Huge.
It's huge. I'm kind of lost for words on it.
I think if people really truly understand what that is about and what it does, it's not just that you're getting more reward for coins, which is absolutely brilliant, but we're having a real input as to what's happening here. And on top of all that, as James just said, it's supply and demand, reduced supply because someone's in a lot of it's contracted away for 2, 3, or 5 years, which in turn is increased demand, which in turn is money goes up. We're all happy. It's happy days. Huge.
So you can see the wee box, the wee graph with the voting contract. Your qualifying transfer is 10,000 Dascoins for 2 years and a reward pool of 10%. So we did the maths on this, and it works out as 6,048,000 coins per week are minted, and 10% of this then will go into that pool, and they're shared between all the people who have submitted their coins for the voting contract. You also get one vote in the company. This is huge, getting votes, and people don't really understand what's happening here. And all of us on this call didn't the other day either until we started talking about it. And we were our conversation was supposed to last 30 minutes and it went on for a couple of hours because we were all screaming with joy. This means you're actually getting a say in the company. This is like being in Parliament and having a seat, and you can stand up and you can shout your voice out. No other company allows you to do this. It's unheard of, and it's really amazing that Dascoin and Michael Matthäus has thought of this ahead. We're only starting, and we're well ahead of everybody else in the game here, and it's just amazing. The ledger contract is 100,000 Dascoins, and that's for a commitment of 3 years and a reward pool of 6%. You get 20 votes for this, so not one but 20. The master contract of 1 million Dascoins for 5 years with the reward pool of 3%. You're getting 300 votes in the company. This is huge. This is like having 300 seats in the House of Parliament. You've got a big say. You've got a big hand in what's happening with Dascoin.
It's like having your own political party, right?
Yeah, it really, exactly.
James, I just wanted to say, with obviously it will increase that that percentage that you get, even on that 10,000, there's only probably about 20 to 25,000 licenses that have been sold at the moment.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot. Think how much.
A lot of coins.
Not everyone will do it, and that's a lot of coins to get split.
Yeah, and with the voting contract, folks, the real smart thing that Michael has done with this is he's opened it up for people who haven't got 1 million coins. They haven't got 500,000 coins. It's someone that has 10,000 coins, which quite a lot of people have. And this is really methodical, like what he's doing. He's giving the smaller people a chance. They have their say, and hats off to the guy. I mean, it's amazing.
The way it's been put together is literally incredible, and to have this done so far in advance of this, to have this thought of so far before it's even got that
Mm-hmm.
big, we all know it's going to go, and have this all in place already is literally, I was blown away when I read this when we really understood it. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So just the roller coaster hasn't got to the top yet, so just hang on there, folks. So then we have the rollover. Okay, so it's really like the lottery here. This is an extra incentive. It's provided to each contract holder for agreeing to commit to an additional term prior to the expiration of the current term. By rolling over their contract, the contract holder will get 2 shares of the reward pool. So now you're getting double the amount of coins, rather than just one, as would normally be the case. Each subsequent commitment will be accompanied by an additional share of the pool. So upon agreeing to a second rollover, the contract holder would receive 3 shares of that pool, rather than the normal single share during that upcoming term. Each rollover agreement adds another reward pool share throughout the terms of the upcoming contract. So if you break that down, folks, in the simple terms, if you have a voting contract of 10,000 coins submitted for 2 years, you're getting 10% of the reward pool. If at the end of that 2 years you think that was amazing, I'm going to roll over for another 2 years, now you're getting 20%, or you're getting 2 times or 2 shares of that pool, which is double the coins, and you also have 2 votes. This is it's mind blowing. You have to take into terms, if you have a master contract of 1 million coins for 5 years, Your next rollover is in 5 years' time. So that is a huge commitment to the company, is to lock away 1 million coins for 10 years. That is, you've really got commitment to the company, and you see the long-term vision. And that is fair play.
You can effectively treat it, because I'm seeing with certain opportunities, especially people that are business minded, sometimes they are involved in one business, and then all of a sudden the guys are saying, I'm looking for some additional residual income. Just guys, imagine this. Let's say you've bought a license, and that license has given you, let's say, 20,000 coins, and you say, I'm going to be with Dascoin for a number of years anyhow. I'm not going anywhere. I've seen the history of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies. I know very well that I'm not going to get rid of the coins within the next 3 or 4 or 5 or even 6 months. I'm more than likely going to be with Dascoin or whatever for 2, 3, or 4 years. The best thing that you can actually do is freeze your coins. So basically, you're saying, dear company, I'm not getting rid of my coins. I'm not going to sell. I'm going to draw up a contract with you where I say I'm freezing my coins. And the company, in return, will be every single week, they will be giving you a percentage of the coins that they're minting back onto your account. And you can do with these coins whatever you like. It's almost like loose change. You've got a certain number of coins that you've got frozen, you can't touch. But because you've committed to it, because you've taken, as James said, you've taken those coins out of circulation so they cannot be sold. Therefore, there's less coins available out there. Therefore, the price, again, is likely to go up. The company is actually rewarding you on a weekly basis with additional coins. And then additionally, on top of that, you also get the vote. So people are saying this is centralized or whatever. Lots of benefits of this centralized structure. One, the company has 4 founders. Then we've got Blair Baker as well as the CEO of DasPay, of Das Payments, and they're making decisions. Blockchain is struggling these days. Blockchain, despite being the king, despite the dominance, and it's still going to rule the cryptocurrency world for a couple of years, let's say. I'm hoping that it's not going to be any longer than that. But it has major disadvantages. Basically, whenever there is a requirement for change to happen, like now, SegWit or whatever, because transactions are just being chock-a-blocked, they cannot do it because there are just too many people who have to make decisions on it or potential changes. With us, we've got 4 founders. Additionally, now the company is also saying here that if you want to have a say with regards to where we're going as a company, the direction, any particular feature that you would like to see, you now actually can genuinely do it. So you're not just some advocate, some evangelist, distributor, whatever. You're now a genuine part of the company. You're almost like being on a board of directors or part of the executives.
Amazing. Yeah. That's it in a nutshell, Arthur, really. That's me finished on my end. I'll hand it over to Rebecca now for her.
Just to clarify there, the coins that we get from the for making the commitment, they also go into the deep vault.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. So just moving on to page 13. So super blocks. A super block is a large distribution transaction that updates the state of the blockchain ledger on a specific interval. Each super block is made by a master node in accordance with a series of smart contracts, and each super block is integrated into the Dascoin blockchain through a cryptographic link to the previous standard block. The production of super blocks does not delay or interfere with the production of minting blocks, and therefore does not impact the minting queue. So the super block, in order for the super block to exist, this is where smart contracts come in. You need smart contracts for that super block to exist and be active, if you like. So also with the master nodes, as James or Alpha explained, once that transaction has been signed off, it can't be altered or falsified. And the super blocks, they're all linked to the previous block as well. Voting blocks. James, did you want to add anything to that bit?
No, I think you've covered it. The master nodes, they're like signatures. You know, it's like the head of the bank authorizing a transaction. This is what this is. And once it has been signed by a master node, no one else can sign it or copy it or mutate it. So once it's done, and it's in the history. If someone tried to change that, they would have to change the whole blockchain, which is really that's getting into more technical stuff that we're going to cover further on in the white papers. So yeah, that was bang on the money there, Rebecca.
So voting blocks, 10% of the minting block production for a 1 week period, distributed directly to deep vault accounts. Ledger blocks, 6% of the minting block production for a 2 week period, distributed directly to deep vault accounts. And master blocks, 3% of the minting block production for a 3 week period, distributed directly to deep vault accounts. So Vivian just explained, or James, that each of those, why they're so important. If you can have the opportunity to do that with some of your coins, probably all of us will.
If no one else wants to, us five will just do it.
Yeah.
We're quite happy with that.
Yeah.
We did think about not telling anybody else about it.
Is this still recording?
Treasury blocks. 1% of the minting block production for a 4 week period is distributed directly to a treasury account controlled by the Dascoin board. The proceeds from these blocks are designed to pay for the administration of the system, executive director, staff and board directors, as well as fund awareness marketing campaigns. So basically, it's like, if you like, it's like an expenses account. So for some of the examples, is it Belgrade you're going, Serbia?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. When the next trip, there's 33 people been invited to Serbia or Belgrade, and that's paid for by the company. It's all expense trip. So this 1% will cover those sort of meetings, as well as other things like when we attend events, they put on like cocktail receptions and stuff, and yeah, paying staff, and when the people are travelling around, the owners and Blair, when they're travelling around to promote DasPay or the business, that's what it's used for. The production of super blocks is simply a reallocation of the ultimate distribution of the total number of DAS coins. Rather than distribute the final amount of DAS coins solely through the production of minting blocks, the system will incentivise holders of Dascoin to store or save a portion of their holdings. It benefits the overall stability of the system. The system also benefits from the community nodes that are created by the super blocks. This creates greater decentralisation and enhances the overall stability of the DasNet infrastructure. So, yeah, so what it's saying is, when you can't, like we call like pump and dump, you can't just sell all your coins, which would have a negative impact on the value of the coin. So by people taking part in this and setting aside some of their coins, it's going to have a positive impact on the value of the coin and the whole ecosystem.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone want to add anything?
Yeah, look, I think it says it all there. Like, but I mean, the bottom line is it does a number of things for us here. It allows us make more Dascoins out of this for anyone who wants to commit to it. It gives us voting rights, so we can have a say in how this is all done, which lends itself to more. The argument could be made by the original style of cryptocurrency, and that it would be very much a decentralized model. Well, we have advantages with having a centralized aspect to this business, but I think we can see from this It's not just 4 guys running a company and that's it. It's 4 guys who have started this up, but is, you know, anyone who's serious about Dascoin and committing to long term are also getting a say in how this is all done. So I think that's hugely beneficial. We've also seen that, of course, with the, you know, 33 people being invited out and to give their opinion and help on various aspects of the business. So I think this is a huge plus for us on a number of levels. But I think importantly, for the person that might make the argument of, you know, a cryptocurrency shouldn't be centralized, well, we have a small centralized aspect to this, but it's being decentralized as we go along.
Yeah.
So I think something we to point out again and reiterate is the fact that only 1% goes into the treasury box, and that's minute.
Yeah.
It's not these guys printing off coins to fund themselves and fund everything else. It's 1%.
Yep.
Over a period.
I think
It's a go on, Rebecca.
Sorry, something that we said yesterday is that the 4 owners, like Michael, they're not doing this for the money. They're doing it to create a legacy. Yeah. And like their main interest, I feel, is like the members, the community of Dascoin, and where the business can go. And it's like, I just find it really amazing how far it's come already in that short time.
Yeah,
it's global prosperity they're looking for. It's not like Bitcoin, where the vast majority is held by a small number of people. And especially we've got Ranuk on the call and what Ranuk's doing in India as well. So it's just amazing, and well, what everybody's doing. But it's global prosperity. It's not just for those that buy in 25,000 licenses. It's for the guys that are buying €100 licenses and €500 licenses, and giving them the opportunity to prosper. I think everybody loves about the business.
It's just another way, effectively, of increasing, especially with all the additional blocks. And the treasury that did actually help as well, because so many people actually wonder, okay, how are these guys actually making money? So yes, everything is explained. Pretty much now, when you read this document, when you consume this, you'll realize that this company is actually prepared for audits. Audits will be happening, and everything is going to be black and white, 100% transparency. And it's almost like effectively executives as well as the founders, again, considering what they've done to date, besides Dascoin Net Leaders and their history, they are from Princeton University, 2 of the founders, we know that they're doing it. They've got a bigger reason than money. But it's almost like operating on a commission-only basis. It is actually in their interest to drive the company, to ensure that we have the latest features, that we are innovative, so that the price of the coin will be going up. It is actually in their interest because of that treasury block. Guys, it's almost like every time reading this once isn't enough. You've got 2, 3, 4 times, and then every single time you will be just getting more and more excited. Certain gaps, you'll be continuously filling up with more information. And believe me, even this, it's like you've got your coins from the license that you're going to buy. Then you're getting coins from being a builder, if you want to be a builder or not. But then you can just buy like a 5K license and be a passive, be a stakeholder, effectively. I don't want to call it an investor, but be a stakeholder of the company. And also, if you're going to actually be part of the voting, or you're going to have the ledger contracts, you will also be getting coins on a weekly basis from the company additionally, even if you do not want to build.
To me,
it's win-win-win-win. It's just
crazy.
Has anyone on the call got any questions they would like?
James. Hello, James.
Hi, Rooney.
Hello, James.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying about the coins there. If you did submit so many coins, right?
Yeah.
And you did want to leave them there, say, for 5 years or 10 years, and you know your rewards for them for banking them or whatever. You know, you get them after 3 weeks and all that. Are them coins banked as well, or do you get something to kind of cash in? You know what I'm saying?
No, they go into a deep vault, so that they go
right into your deep vault.
Yeah, but like the reward, so that means you get nothing for, like, you won't be able to cash in any coins in 10 years, like.
We have asked this question, and we're waiting on the answer ourselves.
Yeah.
We didn't want to say this on the call in case we give the wrong information. But it is being asked. Michael is flat out with something, so as soon as he answers that, hopefully if we have that by tomorrow, we will say that.
I think
Well, my understanding of it is this: the coins that you like. So let's say you commit to the 100,000. You're putting in 100,000 coins in, and that's freezing for say 3 years. And the coins that you earn from that will also be put into the default. It says it on it there. But what I would be saying is, you might have committed 100,000 coins to it, but you might have 200,000 coins. You might have 250,000 coins. So you don't necessarily have to commit every coin you have. So you can commit some and keep others, and you can catch others as you go along if you wish.
Yeah, you're gonna have some leftover because of what the packages are. You've got.
I'm just being greedy.
Sorry?
I said. Million.
Can we mute whoever's phone that is, folks?
Yeah,
I know Mick's asking a question, which is Paul's iPhone. Whoever the other person is, can we mute?
Oh, I always coming up with Paul's iPhone. It's my iPhone.
Paul set it up for you.
That happened, I think.
I thought Paul was checking up on us.
No, I can't care for that.
Okay, so we see a question there from Robert. Is how many 100 or 500 packs can you buy? Robert, if that's in question to you, licenses, you can have as much licenses as you wish. You will need to have a different username for each one, but you could have 100 licenses in one email address. That's totally fine. It's all KYC, so it's 100% above board. You can have as much as you want.
Yep.
Any other questions, guys?
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hi.
Hello.
Good morning on you.
I'm very good. Just a quick one. Does anyone know how many nodes we have in our Dascoin blockchain?
No,
it's tomorrow.
Yeah, nodes. We go into the nodes tomorrow.
Okay.
That we would just be getting ahead of ourselves now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think that's going to tell us the number of nodes anyway, because I would imagine that's dependent on. I presume the number of nodes is going to be dependent on the size of the overall. So I would expect
that. Last time, question.
Yeah.
I think it might be that the number of nodes, like the map. If people doing the contracts and they're in control of it, it might be, dependent on how many people actually do the contracts.
There will be no contracts as yet set up, but there will be nodes in the system because there is blocks that are being filled and there's coins being minted. So there is blocks, and further to be blocks, there has to be nodes. I've written it down here. I will put that question to Michael.
Okay. Because the reason why I asked this question, because let's say if because we had a long chat with Blair this morning regarding some projects in India. So let's say if we're gonna get, let's say it's about 100,000 credit unions itself in India. Let's say if we get 50 of them, and so how many nodes they're going to allocate to each of them? This is very important to know as well.
So we don't have a definite answer because effectively, so again, it's a good question, because effectively we are not positioning ourselves here as gurus. We don't exactly understand this entire document inside out.
Yeah.
That's why.
This is why I put this question so you can ask.
Because we've also asked the question is whether you can have multiple transactions included in one block as well, because that's the question that we put forward as well. So we're waiting for the answers. That's why, if we can, we're going to try to actually get one of the founders to be here with us during one of these calls, so that we can you can get all the answers straight away. But of course, we're not going to have 100% answers straight away on these calls, these Zoom calls, but we will be delivering them later on as soon as we have them.
Yeah, but it is a good question, and one we'll follow up on. Yep.
Yeah. And another question asked by one of the computer engineer from India, where actually our blockchain is registered. Like
Singapore, is it?
Sorry?
Singapore? I think we're the whole company is registered to Singapore.
That is the company is registered. Where is the blockchain they're registering? Like this is, I couldn't answer that person.
Okay. Good question.
Which server? Like I asked the question to the person again. I said, what do you exactly trying to find out? Like registering of the blockchain means in terms of company registration, then it's registered in Singapore, and Dascoin itself registered in Hong Kong, because Singapore is net leaders. So now he said, where actually the blockchain you are registering, Dascoin blockchain, where you are registering, because that has to be registered on either on the server or something. So I could not answer that sort of question to that person.
Okay. Yeah. No. Great question. I'm just scrolling through this quickly to see if it's here, but we will ask it, Unique, for you.
Guys, if anyone doesn't want to ask a question, Catherine just texts me to say, submit questions by midnight. This is what we do prior to the leaders' calls, weekly leaders' calls. So if anyone's got a question and they're too shy to speak up, please just put it in the chat and we'll be happy to ask the questions. Thanks, Catherine.
Guys, I'm going to be stopping the recording very soon, because it's going to be soon 45 minutes, and we don't want to keep them any longer than this. You can feel free to stay here, and then we can carry on the conversation for a few more minutes, but without actually the second part to actually being recorded. Right. So anyone else would like to say something before I stop?
No.
No. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording now then.